That's one of the livest Predator scenes ever. That is up there
Ever.
with the bear scene from Prey.
Yes, sir. Welcome back to Redacted Show. I'm your host, Wafiq, or Feek with my co-host, my other host.
Your co-host Dana Dane in the building. Today we have another Redacted review for you guys. Excuse me. We have the Predator Badlands movie directed by Dan.
Trachtenberg.
I'm so sorry, Trachtenberg. What his last name is?
Yeah,
Like
it's like Trachtenberg. I don't
Dan
Trach.
Trachtenberg.
Yeah.
If I'm butchering that, I apologize. But before we get into that review, our likes, dislikes, if we had any dislikes, make sure you guys support the channel, subscribe. We appreciate all the engagement on the reels. These last few we just dropped, also the ones we have in collaboration with the Play for Keys Pod, and some of my
Oh man.
antics on there. Yeah, we definitely keep it redacted over here. But make sure you guys engage in those. We really do appreciate the support. And if you want to support us even more, make sure you go to that link in the bio and in our descriptions for the donations.
Yes,
You
sir.
can do 17 cents a day. That's $5 a month. You can send that the redacted way.
Yes, sir.
17.5, same
Same
color
color T-shirt.
redacted shirt.
Ah. But yes, today we are talking about the new Predator movie that came out, Predator Badlands. As Dana said earlier, directed by Dan. And then pretty much quick overview of the story. It covers the story of a young Yautja. That's how you pronounce their race.
Yautja.
Yautja, yeah. Deke. So pretty much the way it works is very beginning of the story, he goes off to a faraway planet because he has to pretty much go on this hunt. And through this hunt, he'll be able to get his cloak. I'm skipping over a few parts in the very beginning because I guess you could say it's technically spoilers, even though it happens in the beginning. But that's why I'm skipping over some of the premises that led to him going to this planet and going through this hunt. And through the story, you see him also meet up with a Wayland Utani synth that was in the trailer, so that's not spoiler. But you see him meet up with a synth, which brads on and better expands this universe with aliens, predators, and everything we have going forward.
No, exactly. And in honor of this Predator Badlands review, I have a Predator T-shirt on right now. I want to see that.
Ooh.
Say front and back.
Okay. Oh, hey, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, that the art on the back of the shirt clean.
So that is why I'm not wearing the traditional redacted uniform today. But like Fee said, that's pretty much the overall non-spoiler context of the movie. Kind of getting into our non-spoiler review right now. I enjoyed it. We both pretty much saw it today at the time of this recording. And coming into this movie, Feet knows I was skeptical. I'm not gonna hold you because there's a certain way I like my Predator movies, but kind of going in, what I was mainly concerned about was if they're gonna do a lot of lore
Mm-hmm.
in the Yautja clan, which they do have the lore in the beginning, but it's not all in your face and you're not bored with it because they kind of establish the hierarchy, how this clan works, and then you're pretty much following this young Gaucho trying to prove himself, like this underdog story, which I like that spin on, and uh, it also made me like the character and follow him even more. It was like this is an underdog, like the typical predators we see, even physically, they're bigger, they're smarter, they're more tactical, they're pretty much already ready. So
Yeah.
this is a young runt, as the father says, who pretty much we see off rip that their clan is ruthless.
Cutthroat,
Cut
boy.
literally,
Literally cutthroat, man. Whoo.
man. Their father doesn't play, and there's a whole clan. So obviously this whole journey is a coming of age story, him proving himself to not only his father but to his brother, which we also see a little bit in the trailers, I believe. But he plays a big part in this movie too, and his motivation to go to this
Hmm.
death planet, which no Yautja has ever come and made it back.
Yeah,
So he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna take the biggest one. I'm gonna bring it home." But all in all, I really did enjoy this movie. I enjoyed the action. Also, given this movie was PG-13, them synths safe or like pretty much the non-use of human blood. Dan
they was.
Trachtenberg knew what he was doing with that
Yeah,
because you could just go full gore or like just full throttle on all the kills. Everything was shot beautifully. You know, obviously there's some scenes where I at least I can egregiously tell was CG, but obviously, like we're in a planet full of a lot of monsters and
yeah,
humans or non-humans, so it's like there's gonna be some CG in there. But it was shot very smoothly, so I appreciated that. And then also the ties to the bringing in the Whaley Utani and kind of planting the seeds a little bit for a possible Alien versus Predator movie or a crossover. I think they're talking about that, but if Dan Trachtenberg just kind of brought it up as an idea. They're not trying to jump into that too soon yet. I think they're going to do a couple more projects before we get another Alien versus Predator movie.
yeah. I know. I know he either he said it or the director for or was it Alien Romulus? One of
Yeah,
those. One of them said that the way they want to kind of do it is if they do a Predator, another movie, joint movie, they would each want to write like a section, like a one part. You write the first part, and I write the second part, or vice versa. They said they kind of want to do something almost like that. I think that's what they said in an interview. I believe it was last year or year before last when somebody brought it up to them. But I know, like you said, that is in the plans for them later on and down the road.
yeah. So all in all, Dan Trachtenberg, I was unfamiliar with your game. I'm glad I was wrong. I enjoyed every bit of this movie, even from the moment they just all the action, everything was smooth. The dialogues, the story was followable and believable in the sense of like I feel this character's motivation.
Hmm.
When you're just trying to prove everyone's always trying to prove themselves to their parents or so like I'm good enough. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So that's the underdog story, everyone's favorite story, and all the monsters pretty much going to literally the death planet where anything can do lands there and it's already
he didn't. He
it's
didn't even
slat.
land. He didn't even land. He got attacked before he got land. Before he
Yeah.
landed. So yeah, everything was there to attack him. I'll say for me, my non spoiler, without regurgitating everything you just said, I do agree with a lot of stuff. I will say the only piece, the only part of the movie, and it may have just been my theater, that very beginning scene when him and his brother were fighting or training, whatever. I may have just been art theater. I could barely see like
Yeah,
that. Like
I
I
was
was
thinking the
squinting.
same
Like
thing.
I
It
was in.
was so dark.
I said, God
It
damn, this
was
shit
it was
dark.
very dim. I was thinking when I tell you I was thinking the same shit watching that. I was like, why is this kind of dark? Well, I'm like, maybe it's my theme. It's because I saw
Bro,
it in Adobe Cinema, so I was
I
like,
saw
maybe it's.
I saw it in Dolby as well. So it
I
may
was like, maybe it's Adobe. It's Adobe
they
Cinema.
may
But
have
I'm like,
messed up the
there's
lighting with
no
that
way.
one.
If I was wearing shade, imagine if you saw that shit 3D. You
Oh,
couldn't see
you're
shit.
not seeing nothing. But that was the only small thing that I noticed real for real in the movie. Like you said, I really did enjoy the scenes. It was a section of the movie where I was looking at like the scenery and everything. I said, this is actually I said outside of just the fighting and everything, I said this shit is shot beautifully. Um so I really enjoyed that. I do have a lot of questions that we're gonna get to. And I'm gonna be asking you them obviously, but once we get into the more spoiler talk, um, yeah, I enjoyed pretty much all the acting. uh Thea's character. Bud was a nice addition. The last little bit I will say is I really enjoyed the slight comedy they added into the film because it felt natural. I don't,
Yeah,
even though, like we said, they're
it didn't
aliens
feel
and
like
everything.
MCU forced.
Yeah, it wasn't that like I need to inject humor here. It was like, oh, this feels like this would naturally happen. So I really enjoyed that as well. Um, but yeah, now that we're done with our non-spoiler ish review, we know we didn't go over a lot of scenes because we can't. But now, how we usually do it, our reviews for on the show, we kind of go through different scenes we like, different premises, and then we start asking each other questions. So if you have not seen the movie at this point, we're gonna give you about 5 seconds to get out of here, and if you want to stay, you can. So 5, 4. All right, let's get to it.
So when the
At,
brother got slatted,
when the brother got his head chopped off, see,
let's talk about that shit first.
when that happened, I was thinking, I forgot this was PG-13. I was like, oh, this rated R. I was like, I forgot this is rated R. Did we like earlier just now when you said PG-13? I was like, this was PG-13.
This was a
So
PG-13
they
movie
did
solely off the strength
of sense.
of non-human blood. If there was any color red blood in there, this would have been a rated R movie. Or we wouldn't have seen half the shit we would
At
have
all.
saw in this movie. But man, first of all, that beginning fight scene, because I knew from the trailers, this was pretty much a coming of age, like proving yourself story. And
Yeah.
I kind of went into when he went and fought the brother, I thought the brother was going to be shitty and be like, you piece of shit, brother. Like, why am I even, that kind of character trope where it's like, why am I don't even need to be sharing a last name with you. Like, why are you even my kin for real? But seeing that he was the one protecting him, like being the alpha,
Yeah.
which they kind of get into in the movie, I really enjoyed that because he's just like, obviously he feels for him, which is why they keep him around, or
Hmm.
he's protecting him. Because I'm sure everyone in that clan is like, why this nigga got this weak ass son? And the
Yeah.
father is probably like,
He hearing
why the
all that.
fuck
He like, nah, we gotta. That's why he said we gotta
we got
cut.
to do something
We
about
gotta
this?
cut these. We gotta cut the week out. And then I really did like how they, like you said earlier, when they came to like backstory stuff, you got backstory, but it wasn't like a overbearing. It was like he is brother. He tell you and through the conversation, oh, you kept this toy. Well, you saved my life because of it. So that's why you can just kind of know, okay, he saved his life. That's why he really looking out for him for real, even though that's kind of like not in their culture,
Right.
so to speak.
Yeah, so just that, and then when the dad pulled up, and he was just like, when he was like,
Bro,
"You ain't done it yet," I was like, "Oh,
for a second when he pulled up, I'm not gonna lie. And this is one thing that I kind of have a question about. When he first pulled up, I for sure for a split second thought it was gonna be the one from Killers of Killers.
I thought it was too because of the." I'm like, maybe
Because
I'm tripping, but it was a different predator.
yeah, it was a different one. And then so that also begs the not begs the question, we get an answer now. There's like different clans within their thing because from Killers of Killers in my mind, I was like, oh, they all under this dude. That's just what
Yeah,
I thought. Especially when at the end of it, he was like, "Oh, let's go on this hunt." I'm talking about predator, killers of killers, and you see all the ships. I was like, "Oh, he the king of the predators."
nah.
But then you
Everyone,
see
yeah, which makes sense for a kind of
how they work.
race like this because they can't just all be kumbaya. Like
Yeah,
there has to be egos. Everyone thinks they the alpha, and there's no way there's not like different sets or clans,
yeah,
which we see at the end of the movie, which we'll get into. But so that makes sense. Because initially I thought the same thing from Predator Killers of Killer. I'm like, oh well, this is the basically
bro.
mother equivalent of Alien.
Exactly. Yeah. So that we see that happen. Then from that sequence, he goes over to the death planet. It was called Jenna, I believe.
Yeah, Jenna.
Yeah, Jenna. Immediately as he's dropping down, he gets attacked by, I'm gonna say pterodactyl, even though they said vulture.
Basically,
It was
pterodactyl
a
ass bird.
pterodactyl, and then he ends up in the forest. Question: This is a very side note. How long you think you last on that planet?
Me?
I'm not making it out the atmosphere.
I'm not making it to the ground. I'm not making it. I'm not touching dirt. I'm not pulling no Neil Armstrong.
Nigga. As soon as I saw that plant, Grandma said, I said, yeah, I would have been toast,
uh,
boy.
I
No
would have
amount of
just
training
took it
would have
as a
saved me.
victory of landing on Earth. Then when you land, you're in a fucking rainforest that's trying to kill you in the first place. You think I would have made it? No. And then God forbid I get lucky and make it out there. You in a basically a landmine farm of just porcupine uh, trees where
Yeah,
if you get too close, they bust at you. Pause.
yeah. That was the one. That was the one thing I did. Wait, I gotta rephrase it, because something about the movie premise that I really enjoyed was how they, even though they said this was a death planet, how they really showed everything was alive. Because sometimes some thing premises they'll be like, "Oh, this is a death planet," and it'll only be like five things trying to kill you. No, this one, everything, nigga, the grass was
Yeah,
blade.
the vines had life.
Yeah.
So and it also I liked it because a lot of times in pretty much every Predator adaptation, we see the Predator as the alpha, like the heavy. Nothing can stop him. And seeing him in this vulnerable state, because I'm like, even with this runt with Deck, I'm pretty confident if Deck was to drop somewhere and be the Predator in
No,
the movie,
he running, he
he's
running laps.
like humans ain't gonna be they're not gonna know what to really do with that nigga. This is a base level runt, and I'm sure if you drop that nigga in fucking DC, he'll fuck some shit up. But so just seeing him in this vulnerable state, which is something we haven't seen before, just a predator. First of all, just following him as the protagonist,
Mm-hmm.
and then seeing him actually struggle, but also learn. Even like the montage when he gets there and he's counting all his tools and all that shit just for
Yeah.
the shit to get took by some fucking vine. I was like, welcome to the movie.
How did you
But no, I
enjoy
really
the
like that.
So after that scene, we meet up with I'm gonna keep getting her name wrong. Thea.
Oh, Thea.
Yeah, we meet up with Thea. How'd you like her character?
Initially, I thought she was annoying, but she grew on me. But and then I think that was obviously the point of her character with the banter.
Mm-hmm.
For a second, I
What's
thought
your
they were
name?
trying to ship her in Deck. Where I'm like, no, they're not. They're not doing it. There's no way. But I really like their dynamic and just it like you said, her comedy didn't feel forced, and also like the sense, uh, impact or kind of tying in the story where they didn't overtake the story. Like you
Mm-hmm.
have this nod to obviously the Alien franchise, but it wasn't like they were trying to take any other core elements from those movies, like the black goo or the fucking alien eggs or any sort of the main character's name. I'm blanking on her name right now, but they didn't try to take anything like that. Or even the Romulus, they didn't try to take any kind of core elements from that. We just know Weyland Yutani is big pharma, big business, trying to
Amazon.
make weapons out of anything. So
Yeah, I liked her character too. I'm glad that, and you kind of see it from the trailer that she could like protect herself if needed. I'm glad they didn't try to do some damsel in distress thing.
yeah,
'Cause I will say in some movies when they do like a damsel in distress, I'll be like, I say y'all really like forcing slash making this character like not have any room to do anything else now.
Yeah, they
Which
shouldn't
I
talk.
yeah. So I really liked how her character was, their interaction. But one, my mind went blank. One thing I was thinking about when they did show, when they were showing the Wayland Utani stuff, I was thinking if an alien was on this planet, I'm not gonna lie, I don't think they live. I don't know.
So
I don't think a,
like I
I don't think a alien. Low key, I don't think an alien is smart enough. They smart, they smart, but I don't know if they live as long as a
I don't
predator
know, but
would.
like aliens are like pretty durable though.
They are.
That's the
That's the
thing.
only
Like
thing.
they're quick and they're pretty durable. Do you think a prime like alien, like xenomorph, is taken in a versus is a prime xenomorph taking down a calyx versus a prime predator? Because that calyx was broken. Like it literally took
It couldn't. It literally couldn't die
couldn't
when
die
he
without
let's
freezing
talk
it
about it.
at the end. Yeah,
When he chopped his head off, when he was fighting the Calyx, he was getting his ass whooped at first. But
yeah.
then he started using his surroundings, which I did like how they kind of showed he wasn't just trying to be brute strength since he know he couldn't really just only be brute strength. He had to use all the tools around him. Granted, what he called Thea, but but you see him pretty much trap the Calyx and then chop his head off. When he did that, I said, "Oh shit!" I said,
Yeah, I'm like, because usually with people with that kind of regenerative ability, i.e., even like I'm thinking like a Piccolo. So like a lot of times, if you go for the head, that's game
"It
over.
don't matter. It don't
It
matter."
don't matter.
And my
This
thought,
nigga's bro,
bro,
when he cut the head off and the shit connected, and it didn't like take hours. It took minutes. Head cut off. Next thing you know, it's time back. I'm like, this dude is nigh invincible. How are you
bro,
gonna kill him?
I really thought after he cut the head off, I was like, okay. I said he killed it. I said it gotta be like another Calyx that's about to pull up. That's like its partner or something. Nah, it didn't need a partner. It said I got this on my own,
I got this on because in the initial when he cut the tail off and then it grew back, I'm like, oh shit, like he's
bro.
gonna. When they did that, I was like, oh shit, this is this ain't gonna be no piece of cake.
Bro, because when he slid under and he cut his stomach for a second, I was like, is it about to bleed out or is he just? I said, or he didn't really like pierce it for real. So I didn't think about
He
regeneration
probably
until
did, but he just
it healed
regenerated his shit the moment it kept cutting him.
healed
Even
instantly.
during the final battle, when he was fighting, when the Calyx was fighting basically the mech in
Oh, that Tessa was
the
in,
sister, and when it was saw through, I'm like, there's no way
bro.
it's making it through this. And sure enough, ate that bitch one bite. But no, that is like a crazy monster. Like that's one of the most unique monsters I think, or kind of like monsters I've seen in a minute. Where
Yeah,
you can't do nothing to this guy. I don't even. I'm trying to think like of other characters of different media that would take it down without having to basically crawl inside and freeze it and shatter it before it could regenerate. Because if the sister didn't do that, it still it would have survived that. If it
yeah,
tried to freeze it over, it just would have basically, I guess, heated its body up to dethaw or something like that.
yeah. If she didn't freeze it, if she only went in there and blew it up, it would have just regenerated. So the
Or even if
freezing,
she had to freeze it, then pull like a whole Terminator 2 Judgment
yeah.
Day type of deal.
And the crazy thing is too, she was about to die. You saw how much the stomach acid freaking corroded her. She was
Yeah.
bald. She was tweaking at the very end. So
I
you
also
had to
liked how
you got to be a sense to do that.
Deck he pretty much switched minds. He was like, "Oh, the cows ain't the real score here.
He said,
It's this bitch.
he said
This is the
this
real
crazy bitch.
trophy." Because you got to think no other predator has fought a synth. Not really. Even
Yeah,
in
I'm
the
trying to
Alien
think.
versus Predator movies, like the first, because I'm thinking the first one. I don't think I've seen the second one. I might see that tonight, but I heard the second one isn't good. But anywho, in the first one, it was just like Weyland-Yutani research, like a research and military group going
Hmm.
into Antarctica to find this alien, and then the Predator shows up. There weren't really synths, and the only synth was probably the instructor, and
Yeah,
he wasn't fighting.
it wasn't no synth that you was boxing, from what I remember.
No, I'm like, this is a full. Also, I don't know if you noticed this, but it was like all the other synths, they pretty much were all clones. Like they were
Yeah,
all
they
the
all
same.
looked exactly the same.
They were
All
all
of
the
them.
same nigga, and the sisters were pretty much the same model. Hence why I think they were twins, but they had to distinguish them somehow. So you got to
Yeah,
give the evil one the evil eye.
literally. I will say near the end, before he actually got over there, I did like the montage of him retracing his steps and saying, "Okay, if I don't really got weapons, I got to make weapons out of the planet and getting all the weapons." I really enjoyed that that montage. And that, oh bro, when he that little salamander snake thing he
Oh yeah,
had that was
that
shooting
that
acid,
skinny head on it. I'm
bro.
like,
Hey,
that's in a cheat code.
that nigga ride or die. When he jumped in front of that blast, I said, Pikachu, no. Bro, I immediately thought of the first Pokemon movie.
I was like, oh shit.
Bro, that nigga said, Mr. President.
That's, that shouldn't be funny, dog. But goddamn.
Oh, bro, that shit had me. I was like,
When it did, I
fuck.
was like, there's no way. And then, first of all, before that, when the bitch pulled up with the fucking Predator shoulder scope, I was like,
Yeah.
oh shit. That's because you saw she took Dex from his ship that when the brother fixed it, Quay.
Yeah, she took the grenades and the grenades and the fucking what you said, the shoulder cannon.
Also, you did the ship kind of. I was also thinking like, and you can let me know if my theory is wrong or whatever I'm thinking is off base. But like when they were going in the ship, I was trying to look for Easter eggs. And do you think that dinosaur skull was like a slight nod to Jurassic World or Jurassic Park or not?
It could have been because they had the dinosaur, they had the T Rex, they had another alien in there from another franchise skull. So I remember somebody posting like where each skull is from, like when the first trailer came out, and I do
Mm-hmm.
not have that in front of me right now, but I know it was other aliens or creatures from other things on that wall. Um, it could have been, honestly. I'd say why not? Like it. Another thing though, at the very beginning of the movie, when the brother is showing like what do you want to hunt?
Mm-hmm.
The one before the calyx, it looked like a human, right? Or was I tweaking?
I was trying to look for
And
that.
then,
I was trying to peep that. I'm like, am I tripping? I'm like, is this a
bro,
human? First of all, and then I'm like, if it's a
I was
human,
like,
who
for a
is it?
second, I thought it was a human, and for a second, I'm not gonna lie, I felt like it was old girl from
From Prey?
Prey, because it looked like they was posted up with like they had a bow
Yeah.
for a second. I may be tweaking, but
But then
I
if you remember, because then this is what it also makes me think like at least Dan Trachtenberg's movies are
couldn't.
somewhat canon because if you remember in Killer of Killers, they captured her
Oh
and
yeah.
Dutch, Arnold Schwarzenegger's character, and there's a deleted scene where they captured Danny Glover's character from the
Hmm.
second Predator movie. So
Yeah.
they just got all these. I guess they qualify them as I don't. I'm making this term. I'm not saying this is the actual term. Like they're apex predators or like predator
Some areas.
slayers, and they're like, "Oh no, nah, you too dangerous to be left alive."
Yeah. And then that's why they had that arena with old dude. It was like literally naming the movie "Killers of Killers" because to the predators, they're like, we're the killers, so you killed one of ours, so now we gotta see if you worthy or some shit. So we on box.
Yeah. My thing is, okay, let's say they get all the people that have bested their predators, and then they just do it out. Then what? What's the last person gonna do? Are they
They
just gonna bring them in as an honorary Yautja?
they gonna get that nigga
No,
throat.
they're not. I'm like, if it's one left, what you gonna do? Are you gonna let him go?
They gonna let him
No,
keep fighting every
exactly. Y'all gonna
every alpha.
chain that nigga up? Because my thing is, the only thing you could do that's of some use is you promise them like, oh, you're like an honorary Yautja member. When you know damn well you're not gonna treat that nigga the same.
They gonna just keep him as probably a living trophy. They gonna
Yeah,
keep him in a box. Just be like, this has slayed X amount of our kind. We keeping them because they do
yeah.
love
Because
trophies.
at that point I'm like, oh, you too dangerous to just be left alive. You over here slamming us every chance you get. Nah, not gonna be able to do it.
Yeah, and then that leads into one of my other questions too. At the very end, so the very end of the story, after he gets back, and we find out, we also find out earlier that Bud is a baby callus. For a second, I'm going back and forth. For a second, when the callus was about to like kill Deke, and it sniffed him for a split second, I was like, "Oh, Bud sped on Bud sped on the callus too." So the callus just cool with him.
Well, what I thought when the callus wasn't like when he was sniffing him, I thought he was like, oh, or he could smell. She could smell his fear on him, and she's like, "I'm not killing this." Well, she's like, "I'm not killing someone this weak." Like, kind of going back to the theme of like, "Oh, he's weak." Like,
Mm,
I'm not killing someone this weak,
that would have been
so I'm
crazy.
just gonna let. He's not worthy.
That would have been
That was
crazy.
my mind.
Yeah,
That,
all
that makes more sense knowing
yeah,
that Bud is the Callus's daughter or child at this point.
yeah. I didn't think
When
they
I
was gonna
when that
say
part,
kid
I'm like,
though.
oh shit. I was like, that is crazy. Which also kind of makes sense because when we see Deck and Thea try to get pretty much that horned
That bison.
that rhinoceros bison. Also, that scene where he cut that dude when he cut the shit in half and he just
That was. I'm
weird.
not gonna lie.
I'm like,
That is one of.
that's the
Hey,
livest. That's one of the livest predator scenes ever. That is up there
ever.
with the bear scene from Prey.
That scene was
That
crazy because
scene
he
was
was
crazy.
invisible too, bro. Those two scenes, I'm not gonna lie, Dan, you know how to shoot some predator kills, boy. Whoo, because that was crazy.
That was some crazy kills, like Hall of Fame worthy. But yeah, like when they first showed, because I'm thinking like this is a monkey, because it was
Bro,
how he was swinging around when he was rolling and kind of talking
I thought
and
he was just Geodude, bro. When he put a little armor on and he started rolling, I said, "Oh, this Geodude."
this is a Geodude Sonic the Monkey.
Little did we know, Callus,
This is the Callus in training.
boy, he had to be 3 days old because, god damn.
Yeah,
But
because we see at the end, obviously there's a little bit of a time skip because they repair Quay's ship, fly it back.
mhm.
We're unaware how long it's been, but it's been a minute because Bud is at
But it was a
least adolescent,
teenager,
like a teenager.
yeah, young teen, and they're tall, almost as tall as a calyx. I would say they're probably like a third
Yeah,
of the height. And then you see Deke finally get his, I guess you say, revenge. He beats his dad. Um, and then we get the announcement because after that happens, all the Yautja in this one tribe clan that his dad was over, they're all kind of on this terrace balcony part, and you see their swords light up. And in my mind, I was like, "Oh, they about to run the fade with Deacon them since they killed them." And then lo and behold, we see a ship coming over the horizon, and Deke says, "Nah, that's just my mom." I said, "What the?"
What the? I'm like, if the father was this cold blooded, what's the mother like?
My thing is, I've never seen a mother. I've never seen a woman yautja. So that's the main thing that threw me off. I said, you know what? They've never shown a girl yautja. Like I
Not
thought they
really.
produced asexually. I didn't know how these things produced. I've never thought of that for Predator movies, bro. I never thought of like, man, they really do got kids, huh? I thought they just spawned it.
Well, I mean, they weren't like aliens, like the xenomorphs. So
Yeah.
I'm like, they have to have like, oh, I'm sure he has a wife at home.
I'm just saying,
She's at home, but she's somewhere else running other territories
yeah, she a
because
warlord the way they was talking, where he would mention her. He said it's worse.
yeah,
They
and
said that
then
he said
but
it's
also
worse.
maybe because now that the father's dead, I'm sure the next person in succession
There's a
is
mother.
the mom, especially since the son is dead or the oldest son, Quay, is dead. So now the mom's probably pulled up. She probably got that Amber Alert immediately. It was like, oh, I'm gonna get my shit right now. I'm gonna go cash in my shit. So that is also interesting and obviously hints at a possible sequel with that cliffhanger. But even that scene aside, like if they, I think this is like a good self-contained movie where
Hmm.
if they stopped it right here, or if the next movie didn't really tie into it, I'm okay with that. So, bam, like this, I can't say it enough. Dan Trachtenberg, I was unfamiliar with your game.
I was
I say that
familiar,
right now.
but this put it even like higher. Because Prey, great. Killers of Killers, great. This, just with the lore aspect, crazy.
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 It was just enough lore, and it's like I'm thinking back to Killer of Killers, where we kind of learn their lore through there already. Like throughout the franchise, we're sprinkled in like how their race is. They're a warrior race that
Hmm.
prides themselves on being the apex predators, no matter where they're at.
Yeah.
And uh, like this take on it, just seeing it from this different lens, like it definitely would not have hit the same if that could have been still the weakest one. But if he was like the same height as his brother or all the ones, like it wouldn't have hit the same. Like him being physically smaller, just physically at a disadvantage than the other predators, and the father and everyone seeing that, really sends this message home of, a get it out the mud type predator. Youch, bring it home. Well, when that, and then those deaths, they made that shit so sad. I'm like, damn, because he's like the brother's trying to bang on the wall,
Oh, the
and
beginning.
then with the brother guy's like, bring it home.
Yeah, no, that
Oh
beginning
my
was,
gosh.
yeah, no, that beginning was definitely puts you on the track of just saying, I got like he gotta win now. I gotta see him
Exactly.
win.
I'm like, you gotta win. You have no choice. Because if you don't make it back, the plane is gonna take you, or your father's gonna meet you at the door. And sure enough,
He met him at the door.
yeah. But
Where
what are
would
your?
you Oh,
Oh,
go ahead.
well, I was gonna say, what are your kind of expectations now, like with how it ended? Any sort of like future? Because now he pretty much has his own clan with Deck, Bud, and now Tia.
Future things. Ooh, I think for the next movie, whether they do like another animation one, I guess in between, or if they do continuation like in live action, I think it will stick with these three. I think we're gonna see him possibly. I don't want to. I don't think he. I don't think they're gonna have him fight his mom, but I think it might be some like crazy elite person he has to end up fighting, or he might have to take out, or they might have him like take out a whole clan somewhere using
Mm.
Bud as well. So I think it could
Or
be something like
they
that.
finally throw the xenomorph in there. They're
As,
like, this is the ultimate op to our race. If you can take out these niggas, you're the king. You're the apex predator.
they could. I'm just. I think they did good with this story, so I feel like they're gonna explore a lot more lore now that they're finally back on the planet. I think they'll go like
Yeah,
more even more in depth with the lore, like how the even more how the hierarchy is, how other clans are possibly. Now we know he got a mother, so seeing how that dynamic is, since he said worse, so we'll see. She might be worse than the dad.
yeah. Big Mama, Big Mama.
What do you expect going forward?
Oh yeah, I'll say pretty much kind of similar to that in like the theory I brought up of I can see if they want to keep tying in Wayland Utani, I could see like the second movie being, Deck and his clan are trying to because it seems like it takes place after like furthest in the timeline of all the Predators and Alien movies,
Hmm.
and you know they bring the Xenomorphs back, and they're like Wayland, they get a sniff of that or like the that fucking humanoid xenomorph character that they left off with the Alien Romulus because they're doing a second Alien Romulus or a sequel to that movie.
I did not know that
Yeah, which is that's gonna be even crazy. I don't know how they're gonna expand on that unless it's another cast and then they
because
tie into those plots. But
Romulus is before Alien, or is it no? It's either before Alien or between Alien and Alien Two. I mean, Alien and Aliens. I know it's somewhere in that sequence of timeline.
Alien, yeah, it's in between Alien and Aliens. So
Okay,
it's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
usually 20. It takes place 20 years after the first movie and
Okay.
37 years before the second.
Well, shit, they got 37 years in between, so I get, yeah, yeah, I get it makes
They
sense
got
now. Okay,
37
it makes
years to
sense.
do something.
It makes sense then. Okay,
But just something like that, or just if they keep want to tie in Wayland, they can just say you need to find a xenomorph, but they run into Wayland, who could be pretty much the main overarching antagonist because they're always trying to get
life
these
forms.
life forms to test on and use for military weaponizer, pretty much.
True.
So like they're trying to get this xenomorph, but obviously they can't ever catch dude. Then the xenomorph. Maybe the second movie could just be an Alien versus Predator movie.
Honestly, one thing I wouldn't want them to do is do a if they keep this these three like Bud, Deke, and Tia. If they keep them three, I don't want them to do a rescue Bud because that's practically that's what this the end of this was. Just replace Bud with the callus. I don't want them to do a rescue Bud personally.
Yeah, no.
So
Or like Wayland comes back and they try to get Bud or they capture him, then it's like they're going through space to find him. Yeah, no.
yeah, I don't want to see that.
Predators weren't made to rescue; they were made to hunt and kill, and I want to see that. But that's pretty much. Or I think you had one more question,
Um,
unless you're gonna ask me for like my rating for it.
yeah, that's what. Yeah.
My rating with the expectations I had going in and what I feel going out, this is like a definitely eight, 8.5 out of 10 movie.
Okay,
I'd
okay.
definitely recommend it. It's definitely up there. in all time Predator. Well, let me
Nah,
calm down.
nah. Where would okay? So I'm gonna ask this. I'm gonna ask the question next. I'm gonna give my rating. So my rating, real quick. Mine is going out the movie, and after the talk and everything of us of this doing this review, I would say like an 8.7
Mm-hmm.
off the initial watch, just from enjoyment, learning more lore. I really liked the characters. I didn't really have any. I didn't really have no big gripes with the movie personally. I mean, I enjoyed it. I was
Right.
laughing. I will say the only thing, and this is a side note, my theater was kind of dry. Like it was a lot of people in there, but some of the jokes, like you know me, I'm a laugh. Like if it's something funny, I was in there cracking up, and some people was just like straight face. I said, "Damn, they live." But yeah. So it's kind of my rating. Lowest I would give it is probably an 8, but that's like I think it's a little better than that. So my next question, last question is: instead of rating all the Predator movies in general, where would you rate this in the three that Dan has done? So we have Prey, we have Killers of Killers, and then this one, Badlands.
I would say this one, man, because I really like Killer of Killers. I think Prey is number one. And just with how much I was surprised by this movie and the different take, I would put this two and Killer Killers three.
Okay, I think I would. I need to rewatch Prey. I think I will put Prey first, but right now, off of just recency bias, I'm gonna put this one first, and then actually, nah, I take it back. I'm putting Prey first because I'm rethinking about the sequence near the end when he's like fighting those. I don't even know what they were.
Mm-hmm.
Freaking, who knows what they were? But I don't know who to take. But yeah, I'll put Prey. I think I would have had the same Prey, Badlands, then Killers of Killers.
Yeah. And then my last question before we close out: do you think the father is a previous predator from previous movies? Because that was going to be my next thing. Because I'm like, is this the one? No. The only thing that would make sense is if it was one of the predators from Predator 2, because the first Predator in Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, he got killed.
Yeah.
And then there was like multiple Predators, Predator 2. They was gonna take over that whole damn city. Or because because Danny Glover's character, he killed one,
Yeah, I remember
but then
that.
they snatched him and got him on that ship. And then there was like a bunch of other Predators.
Mm.
And then I see like the Alien versus Predator ones.
Is this a predator from another movie? That would be a crazy Easter egg if that's real. Um, damn, it's making me think now how he like his head looked when he took the mask off. Damn. What if he wasn't, but we get introduced later on to one that went, say like the next movie, and they go more in the lore, and they're like, oh, this is one that fought XYZ on this planet that's called Earth. And he
Mm-hmm.
lived something like that. I think that would
Yeah,
be a very interesting thing to look at because I would want to know if, even though they captured him, right? They captured his character, or even if they lived, would they have killed them for technically running? Because it's not like they ran, they retreated, but they left. They still left.
yeah, they left alive, and they're like, you ain't finished the mission, nigga. Like,
Yeah, like so. I
you
would
failed.
want to know. I would want that's an interesting thing. I
Unless he
would want
came
to
back
actually
and
see.
lied, he's like, yeah, I killed
That would
him.
be crazy.
It's like, oh yeah, don't worry about that. I got him. I forgot the trophy. It's in my other ship, but just know he's not a problem anymore. I did the assignment.
Now, that's
Right.
actually a great question. Damn.
That is a thought I had, but before I turn it to a shadow, we're gonna go ahead and close out this episode. No redacted rule.
That boy
Well,
from the
we
cave
are
in the
doing a
first
redacted
scene.
rule, but no get in our bag. You said what?
I said, you in the cave from the first scene of the movie.
But no get in our bags today. No like or redacted today. So we're just gonna finish it up with a redacted rule, and that is, it is okay to not tip terrible management. Well, that's not a redacted rule. If anything, that's a hot take, but it's my rule. Like, don't feel obligated to tip if the service is bad. I had an experience where I'm leaving. Is me. This happened last Friday. It's me
Mm-hmm.
and a few of my friends from work. We're there, getting drinks, whatever, and like you could tell someone was off because we moved from one table to another table, and then they're like, "Oh, well, you have to close out y'all's tab at this table, and then you have to start a new one over here." I'm like, "What?" Then I moved from we're at the same area, so I think like this rectangle.
Yeah.
I'm on one end of the table. I moved to the opposite corner of the table towards later on that night. I close out my tab. I'm thinking I'm paying for everything. I go about my day. I leave. Why this morning I get a text? I'm like, "Hey, did you uh like pretty much did you have like these two extra drinks?" I'm like, "Yeah." Like I thought I paid for those. They're like, "Well, I guess you didn't because I moved tables. They never caught it on my tab." I'm like, "What kind of like what kind of shit is that?" That doesn't make any sense. Sorry I made this short story long, but redacted the rule. Do not feel obligated for tipping bad service.
And my redacted rule, I know I've said it before, but you have the free will to not watch something if you don't like it. I only say this because if you don't like something, just don't watch it. If
Turn
you
the
like
TV
something,
off.
watch it. Turn the turn the TV off if you don't like what you're looking at. Turn it off. So yeah, that's my redacted rule. If you don't like something, you don't gotta consume it. You don't gotta watch it. You can go about your day and be happy.
With that being said, it's been your boy Dana Dane,
Been your boy Wafik.
and we out.
Peace.
Rest peace, Chloe, I'ma show him how to shoot. On the 4-5, jump in the ass, my crew. Yeah, step with a flag, keep it all of the hoes on mute. Pull apart, could be yellow with a brew. 48 for a quick burst. Crazy 8s in the back, yeah, the trunk on hot like a cue. 40 on me when I'm in the backseat. Block, paper pre-cup, Chris make juice to the drop like Shane came with a clean plate, came with a sink. The Parator came with a mate. Tricones white like paint. My hoe by the hoe, cause she know it's my king. Hit on my side, cause I drop a song. Think you should hit up the link. The phenotype came from the pink Colombian thing. Yeah, the genetics unique. Cellular right on the beat. I'm teaching the hoe like I'm Play-Doh. I got the veggies like by the tomato. You got a Mexico making Alfredo. I put a bag on the whole my payroll. I get active and I